I shared why I returned to the United States after 15 years abroad in the Caribbean. 3 years later, I'm looking back to see what is still true, what isn't, and whether I made the right choice. There are certain conveniences you have in the US that you would have to do away with. Of course, we all know that the US is the land of convenience. And as somebody said, I think in the comments, you pay for that convenience. But I don't miss the sudden electricity cuts. The internet is pretty similar. When I was overseas in the Caribbean, I had my US company jobs. And I was also a freelance travel journalist before that. So I never had any issues in the Caribbean with the internet generally. The only problem was, again, the electricity cuts. Nowhere you go is safe. As a female, I found myself watching my back more often than not. It's a global thing. Crime is up. I definitely feel the same way, not just overseas, but also in the US. The point is that there's many dangers out there now and you can't stop living your life. So that hasn't changed for me. I'm always like head on a swivel. Probably even more so now that so many things happening with the wars and anti-American sentiment. The thing I love too about living abroad is your life doesn't revolve around news 24/7. So for the past 3 years, I was still in media. My job is to always know what's going on, but I think it's pretty hard to ignore the news at a time when we have unpredictable wars popping off. I've learned from my life overseas not to be glued to the news all day long. I'll scan it in the morning, but I won't be doom scrolling, and I certainly won't be just terrified by it every minute. No, I've learned to let go of that, and I think the last 3 years are proof that it's doable. I'm not going to say there's no anxiety. I think that there's definitely more anxiety here in the US, but overseas is a different kind of anxiety because it is there too. It's just different. I spent time in nature, which I'm so happy to have. Hiking is great. And that's my release of any worries and things like that. I don't think that goes away no matter where you are. It's just learning to manage it. One of the biggest advantages in the Caribbean or Central America, the cost of living is much lower, which means that you'll save much faster. If you follow my channel, you know that I've done follow-up videos on this and why it's important to think about our privilege as we move abroad into countries where people have a lower income. You can check out my video about 6 ways to move abroad more responsibly. When I moved to DC, I was able to save still, even in the US, not as rapidly as I would overseas. But I won't say that I couldn't save. No, my father was diagnosed with dementia. My father was going through the dementia levels, advancing, which is the primary reason why I wanted to come back. Aging parents. My dad turns 80 this year. 100%, that was the best decision. I spent a lot of quality time with my dad these past 3 years that, I'm so grateful for. I can't even explain. I became tired of some of the things I did not have access to, including really great work opportunities, travel opportunities. It's really ironic because I had my remote job. So when I moved back, my employer was like, oh, great. You're going to be closer now. You'll have more chance of going from being a contract staff to full-time staff. And nothing changed. It was excuse after excuse. I was full-time, but I didn't have PTO. I left the job last June. I took the time to rebuild my own business, my consulting, coaching, and communications for people in tourism, whether they're entrepreneurs, whether they're executives. I started my own media lab where I train people to express what they do in a way that will attract media attention, in a way that is authentic to who they are. I've been in the travel industry for a long time, so I'm getting clients. I've had some consulting gigs. I've been invited to speak as well in June. I'm also teaching storytelling for George Washington University's Tourism Institute this summer. It takes time to build a business. I started YouTube shortly after we moved back. I started it on the weekends. And I'm so glad because it's become one of my side incomes. Long term, part of our vision really is to buy land in the Dominican Republic so that we have options. You have to have options these days. Definitely for now, we're in the US and we'll see how that evolves. But again, you have to be nimble, adaptable, do what works for you. Am I happy I'm back? Yes, in some ways. Other ways, I miss my life in the Caribbean sometimes. But I think we romanticize wherever we're not. You can't generalize. The government is government. People are people. There are good people, there are bad people everywhere. This country has changed my life in many ways, and I hope for better. And to hope for better, you have to participate. Anyway, there are seasons of your life, and whatever season you're in will determine where you want to go. You know the saying, wherever you go, there you are, and it's true. So you really just have to embrace yourself, embrace your dreams. Life is so short. You want to try out living abroad, do it. But just plan, be smart, be strategic, have buffers, have protective layers for yourself. But remember that everybody's life season is different. Here I am, almost 3 years in. September will be 3 years. It's gone really fast. Do I want to stay in this area forever? No. We're thinking of other states we can go. I still travel for work whenever I can. And state of mind, staying positive. It's a daily exercise. There are definitely serious things happening, and we need to pay attention to that. We need to be engaged as citizens wherever you are. But I'm not going to stop living my life because of politicians. You can't stop living your life. I'm here. I'm building my platform, my business through YouTube and off YouTube with my consulting communications firm for travel storytelling. That's the whole point of why I left the media house last summer. It's thanks to you as well that I keep doing this work, and I'm going to keep building my thing. I hope that was helpful. Let me know what your lessons have been if you've returned to the US or you're thinking about leaving. Drop your comments, your questions. Always here to answer.